Hi, my name is Ian Gack with Exploswing, and in this video I'm going to go over a single arm barrel turn progression drill. So if you see my other video with the barrel turn progression, we use two hands on a regular bat. All the reasons why we do this are the same for performing the drill with barrel turn and releasing the barrel and getting good path and all that. So I'm not going to go into too much depth on that, but I'm going to go over how we perform it with single arm. So I'm going to go over both the bottom hand and the top hand, or lead arm and trail arm, in this drill. So a couple of reasons why we do individual arms. One, just become cleaner and more efficient with each individual arm, so then when we put them together we just have that much more of a consistent bat path and barrel turn. Two, we're almost always dominant on one side or the other. I haven't come across anybody who's totally equal on both sides. So everyone always has a dominant and non-dominant side. So it's really good to train that non-dominant side just to become more efficient. So for instance, if for me, I was a righty thrower, righty hitter, so my top hand in my swing would get oftentimes pretty dominant, and I'd start to roll in and out because my top hand, my stronger hand inside, wanted to take over. So I did a lot more lead arm drills. And vice versa. So if you're, a real common combo is a righty thrower and a lefty hitter, so that means their lead arm now becomes the dominant one. And when your lead arm's the dominant one, a lot of times you'll see guys start to pull off a little bit more, want to rely on that front side a little bit too much. So then maybe you want to spend more time with the top hand and getting it more consistent and more coordinated and trying to even it out a little bit more. And other reasons why you do it is injury, and now you can just work on one arm or versus the other, so you don't have to just completely sit everything out just because let's just say you broke your wrist, or you're just taking some time off because your elbow's flared up. You can still get your work in. So number of reasons why we do it with individual hands or arms, but I'll go in this video on how we perform it. But the drill is the same if we have two hands or one hand for why we do it and how we set it up and all that. So before we get started, I highly recommend using a shorter bat or a lighter bat in general. So I like to use the control bat. Here I can counterweight it, put weights on the knob, or I can put weights in the barrel, so I can get different feeling of, especially when it's counterweighted down here, the barrel kind of turning and releasing itself. But use a shorter bat so it's lighter, a little bit more control over it, or you can use a fungo maybe, or just choke up on your regular bat. Just so you have good control and you're not putting too much stress on that arm. So how we set it up is the same way. I'm going to find my depth of contact basically with the tee. So I set the tee up, put it behind me, so I get so if I have two hands on the bat and I got my good 90-degree bend about right there, so I find my depth this way away from the tee, and I put in the tee on the back side just like we talked about in the other video. So it's behind me, so I got about that depth right there, so that's how I'm going to set it up. So I'm going to bottom hand first, obviously, as I'm going through this. So everything remains the same. I'm just going to load for the first 5 or whatever number of reps you're doing. So I'm going to load in and back to slot. Okay, so remember in the other video we go two hands on, we load to slot, right? So same thing here with the bottom hand, but now just kind of think load to slot. And the best way to think about, especially with that lead arm, is kind of to load in and then kind of think that knob's going to come down behind my back hip. So load to slot, right, load to slot. So we're going to do that for 5 reps or whatever number you want to go with. Okay, so load to slot. From there we're going to go load to bat lag, right? And we're hitting that slot in the way on the way through. So we load to bat lag. Okay, so load to bat lag. Still thinking good posture, scaps are set back and all that good stuff, but load to bat lag. And one thing to keep in mind here is that this barrel is going to stay tight to my back shoulder, my body, right? I don't want to let this thing load and then flare out like we talked about in the other video. Okay, from there we're going to go 5, and on that 5th one I'm going to hold in that bat lag position, and then now I'm going to release bat lag contact, but really letting the barrel lead. Okay, so the arm's going to start to extend, the elbow's going to start to unbend a little bit, but I'm going to let that barrel lead me through. Okay, for a good 5. After 5, we put it all together. We're going to go load from bat lag all the way through. Okay, nice and smooth, fluid behind the tee, releasing through. Okay. Okay, one thing to point out here I'll do this when I go over the top hand too, but hand on the chest. I like to have the hand on the chest so it's nice out of the way and helps us to have some good posture and just get used to it, because if you perform other one-arm drills, lead arm or top arm, I like to have the hand on the chest so it's out of the way when we go to actually swing. So I just get used to it here, and I just have players put their hand across their chest. Okay. The last part is putting it all together, because remember that we don't make contact back here, we actually are going to make contact out there. So all this bat leg, right, happens with the backside turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn, line that tee up right about our front foot. We can just be in a nice neutral stance. We're just going to load, turn, turn to release. Load, turn, turn to release. One little key here that I think helps a lot of players is thinking that the back shoulder is actually going to deliver this barrel to the ball, right, with the lead arm, and not let this lead arm disconnect too early, right? So one of the reasons that, again, why you would do a lead arm drill is to feel that backside connection, not let this come out on its own too much. So really make sure you're focusing on that turn, and again, thought process of back shoulder, it's going to take me there, right? So once I get to my bat leg, I'm pretty much with the shoulder, and then it releases, okay? And that's going to be the lead arm barrel turn progressions. Now we'll go to top hand. Everything's the same, okay? I'm going to set it up the same way. I got my good 90-degree bend right there. That's going to be my depth of contact with the tee, or if you're using a punching bag or whatever it is. And then from there, we're just going to, same thing, we're thinking in and back, but the difference here is now you got your top hand, so now we can kind of really think that scap load and the elbow working in and back, because that's what's working there with your top hand. So we're going to think in and back to slot. So you can think that elbow working towards your back pocket. So load to slot, right? Load to slot, load to slot. Okay, so it gets your 5 reps there. Then from there, we're going to load the bat leg, right? Make sure we're hitting that slot position first. Stay nice and tight. Okay. And then from there, we're going to hold it on number 5. I'm going to release the contact. Remember, barrel is leading through, and then the hand arm, right, will follow. The elbow will start to extend. Or sorry, right here. All right, just getting ahead of myself a little bit. After that, we're going to put it all together this way, where we're going to load to bat leg, right, slot to bat leg, releasing through to contact. Okay, and then the final piece, turn, 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 right? Get the lower half turning with it. Hand on the chest, load, turn, turn, load, turn, turn. All right, and that's performing the barrel turn progression with individual arms.